I think there's a monster. Oh my goodness!
Welcome back to this new video regarding a very rare occasion. Well, not as rare as my homeland getting snow, but that's another story for another day. The name is Lasserate, and I'm about to take a stab at trying out the latest TRUEGREEN7 contest. The idea came around back in a small break between the Goofy Mega Evolution Pokemon and the second Fakemon battle. I was chilling around my mass when I was told of this latest announcement on YouTube. My initial plan was to evolve Gypsy Monk and Mouse Splotch, two of the suggested mods. But then, I reread the Google form you're supposed to post your Fakemon into, and you weren't limited to those 10 propositions. Oh, et puis merde! And that's how I drew my 2 submissions and posted them within the week after hearing about it. Now that his video is out, I can finally show what I pulled out. Quick tip, look up his video first and find out whether my babies made it there to the top 50. Then come back here to learn how did I drew those gems. Or don't. Don't feel obligated to do it just because I told you so. Speaking of which, feel free to do the usual dance of likes, subscribes, and join my Discord to never miss anything I do. Okay, that sounds very an absolute oxymoron with the previous sentence. But anyway, let me show you how I cooked these two. After Ron made the cardinal mistake of trading his Nyantom and Lasserate with my shiny Monobling and Bukimori. For those who forgot the first episode of Fakemon Battle or are too lazy to see it, Danny Phantom and Killl are my 2 favorite shows of all times, and World's Cartoons and Anime's Pokemon series are the reason I kickstarted Fakemon Battle. Yes, I redid those for the occasion. Sont-ils pas beaux?
C'est bien, Eleonore, on est content.
In this same video, I reviewed my nitpicking towards Nyantom and Lasserate. Over time, I grew fond of what he cooked, mostly because I finally put my finger on what was exactly wrong with them. In Nyantom's case, his idea of a Schrodinger's cat is stellar in retrospect, and the ghost number tag does fit into a Dynamon, albeit a bit busted. Then, what was the problem exactly? Well, TG7 accidentally cursed me with the mental images with Catboy Danny, and I can't bleach it away. So now, I will curse you with the same image like the worldest gem the butcher needs to understand Engross's pain. Voila! Jokes aside, TRUEGREEN7 contest was the perfect opportunity to make peace with those nitpicks I once had with Nyantom and Lasserate. Plus, I never participated in those and was bummed when I found out the previous one I missed at the Thoras Clackmon as one of the pseudo legendaries. I remember that Ron struggled with making Nyantom feel like it's Danny, and that's understandable. That signature Buchatman and Kurt is the pain in the ass to translate. Thankfully, I do the Daft Day the Mikado so many times that I know how to translate it into most art style. Another detail I liked was the Fading Ghost tail, which reminded me that phantom leaves are a thing. So, I snatched Merino's left arm and copy-pasted onto both sides of the evolution. More stripes, and the face of Tigra from Thundercats to mimic the Butcherman face, and it's ready!
Portugal, the gatekeeper Pokemon. Guided by its shining breath, it prowls under the starry moonlight to find the closest street to drag back to the other side. Rumors says their first specimen could originate from the distortion world. One scientist is still trying to understand how can this Pokemon should build attacks out of its bones or explore space and escape to this aim. 2 many trainers purposely lost their arms after they had the bright idea to plant their hands inside these phantom limbs.
The only real change was the typing and the ability Chilling Touch. Not only it's backed up by urban jungle and how ghosts are usually called, but I wanted to nerf it a bit. Ghost normally is a good alternative to making whole ability about going ghost, but Fada, that dual typing is busted. Danny is already overpowered on so many levels and already had a hard time nerfing the twink when making the Lifeline. By the way, feel free to tell if you think Danny is a dog person or a cat person. Personally, I'm pretty sure for the former. Lasserate is a different kind of wounds that needs to address. The short answer is, giving the fairy type to fakemon based on Ryuko is a worldwide fraud. The long answer is, giving a Occitan Gremlin vibe isn't enough for Pokemon whose inspiration never matched it in the first place. The closest reason behind such a dual typing upon looking closer is the magical girl genre, which, considering what Kill is all about and Ron's love for magical girls, it would have been such a better reason. Ron, you had every opportunity to make an edgy magical girl, and you somehow dropped the ball. What happened, man? Then again, Ryuko doesn't scream fairy type, even with the magical girl genre taken into account. To me, Dark, Dragon, and Steel are the most appropriate types for Ryukomon. Dark type because she shadows Sukeban waifu and the whole grog magic equals evil deal. Steel due to her synchronized form and the scissor blade. And Dragon because of her hue and her name, the scrap dragon-like design found in the official art of Kill, and how Dragon had devastating anger issues, which is exactly what Ryuko pulled out on several occasions.
Fiber Wrath, the fate breaker of Pokemon. This Pokemon is unusually attracted by dragon blood, and as the beta bit are feeding from any Pokemon with such a rare taste in the veins. Despite its wrathful appearance, she can be seen chilling across seashores and eat citrus berries alongside bumblebees and narwhals. She has an irrational hatred of chairs and won't hesitate to smash one if it's up or whack a civilian to death.
The Fate Breaker category is confusing at first, unless you watch a few essays about the anime. Amongst the main thing you have is the concept of the right threads of fate, and how everyone eventually breaks away from it, defying destiny in this process. Aside from that, Lasserate was the one I had the most fun building up that evolution. Between bringing back Senketsu, expanding the scissor and Stensuke Saragi, and add a spoonful of Berserk to show off those anger issues, this would give me more reason to get a Lasserate in the hypothetical anime-based region.
T'as pas oublié un truc?
Comment ça, j'ai zappé un truc?
Ah, je sais pas. Le nouveau talent que t'as donné à l'autre porteur KO, je dis ça, je dis rien.
Je vois pas de quoi tu... Oh merde, c'est vrai! Lance la section des attaques hélico, vite! Chilling Touch isn't that hard to understand, really. When the attacker hits Porter Gao, it has a 33% chance to be frozen. Kinda funny that this is not a canon ability, when the likes of Static and Flame Body are things since abilities were first introduced in Gen 3. But here's the fun mechanic on top of that. Should you use a sound attack like, let's say, Ghostly Roar, you have a 33% chance to undo the target's frozen status in exchange for adding chip damage, setting them free. Unfortunately, the chip damage percentage entirely depends on the target's type. You'll be fine with a Flying Grass type, but you won't be laughing when that happens on the Dragon Steel type. Et voilà! I hope you like what I cooked for TRUEGREEN7 Unlimited Evil Form Contest. This challenge helped me make the piece with those designs whilst improving on the whole line. The moral of the story is everyone has different ideas on how you can draw specific characters as fakemon, and all have their pros and cons. Once again, you can do the usual dance of likes, subscribe and join my Discord to never lose sight what I do. Thank you for watching yet another surprise video. I'll see you next year! Ciao tout le monde! CHAMPOMY tout le monde! On a réussi à se frayer un chemin dans le top 50!